The Mishnah in Avot 5:19, according to this Seder, says any love that depends on a specific cause, when that cause is gone, the love is gone. But if the love does not depend on a cause, it will never cease. It will never end. What sort of love depended on a specific cause that we have in the Torah? The love of Amnon for Tamar. Amnon was, both of them were the sons of David. They were half brother and sister. And Amnon lusted for his half sister, telling her that he loves her. But yet after he rapes her, he immediately started hating her. Not loving her anymore. He got what he wanted finally, and now he hated her. Says that was a love that depended on a specific cause. And what was a love in the Torah that did not depend on a specific cause? The love of David and YONATAN. The love of David and YONATAN, two men. Now, chas v'shalom, let it not even enter your brain, like this Rasha Merusha Dweck and all of the imbeciles that follow him, to think for a second that you're even allowed to think about homosexuality having anything to do between the relationship of David and YONATAN. To say it is embarrassing. To say it, to think it. I don't know if somebody could make it out of this world just thinking that it's there's a level of truth to it. It's mamash despicable that somebody thinks that the person that Hashem decided to make the fourth pillar of the Merkavah, the fourth part of the Merkavah to carry the Shekhinah, the Mashiach comes from him, people actually think, oh, maybe he was homosexual. Why? Because they don't know how to read Torah. They don't know how to read Torah, and they learn from rabbis who also don't know how to read Torah. They know how to read from their own opinions. So we talked about this Dweck some months ago, maybe even a year ago, when he came out with a despicable shiur talking about how homosexuality is the greatest thing that's happened in recent generations, even though it's against Hashem, against this Torah, and against anything that's pure. And he used one of the examples as the relationship between YONATAN and David.
I genuinely believe that the entire revolution of feminism and even homosexuality in our society, I don't think it's perfectly stable and well and so on and so forth, but I think the entire revolution is a fantastic development for humanity. Men are capable of love. And the Torah cultivates it. And it is why the Torah takes the relationship of David and YONATAN and puts it on display. Look how early it was. How before the whole sexual revolution, and you should know that ironically, the sexual revolution opened the doors for this. With all of the other junk that it brought with it, it opened the doors for us being able to hang our hang-ups at the door. So the Torah talks about David and YONATAN. You look at them, I mean, read this. It's insane. Number 28. David's talking to Shaul after he slayed Goliath. Right? So he's talking to Shaul, and Shaul is enamored with David because he just slayed this giant, right? And David's like, young, beautiful kid. We're told that he's beautiful, right? He's tov ro'i, he's. So Shaul's talking to him, and who's watching? YONATAN is watching. His father, the king, talked to this young man. He finishes the conversation. V'nefesh YONATAN nikshira b'nefesh David, and the soul of YONATAN was bound to the soul of David. That's falling in love. Notice the language of the pasuk. Vayhi kechaloto ledaber. It's like an immediate. Where's David? Vayehavehu YONATAN kinafsho, and YONATAN loved him like his own soul. And you tell me which man is comfortable enough to say that he loves another man this way. Yeah? Vayichrot YONATAN v'David brit. Immediately, they establish a covenant between each other. They know, he knows, that I know, that you know, that I know, that you know, that we love each other. This is what it is. We love each other. So what does he do? He takes off his coat, and he gives it to him, and he takes off his sword, and he gives it to him as an act of establishing covenant with him. He doesn't get undressed. He's not naked now, Yonatan, right? He takes off his cloak and his sword, and he gives him his belt, and he says, these are my trappings, I'm giving them to you. It's an act of covenant. What does he say? So it's what David says about this is just Yonatan. What does David say about this love after Yonatan dies? He says to him, Nifle'at ahavatcha li me'ahavat nafshim. Very strange thing. He says, your love for me was beyond. Pele means it's out of the normal. It's extraordinary. That's literally what Pele means. Your love for me was more extraordinary than love of women. What's David saying? David's saying, the way that I understand it, I interpret it, David is saying over here, I didn't have any of that sexual tension with you. It was pure. We could love each other completely and wholly. I could hug you and kiss you and caress you and talk to you and be intimate with you. And none of that dissonance of the basal elements of sexuality that we draw with us from primal situations, it wasn't present. That's how pure our love was. And that's what David is saying to him. Literally, everybody's so holier than thou. Because this particular act, you don't see how it is that it's attractive. Probably, more often than not, because you've convinced yourself that you're not attracted to it. But what have you? Good, so you're exclusively heterosexual. Chazaku Baruch. Yeah? Good. Great. So you have no capacity to find attraction in any one of your same sex. Usually there's something wrong with you if that's the case. No, I'm serious. Usually there's something wrong with you if that's the case. I'm not saying that you have to get all hot and bothered and excited, but you can't see attraction in somebody of the same sex? You don't see beauty? There's something wrong.
So to kill the elephant in the room and understand, so in case people don't watch the entire 3-hour or 6-hour shiur, let's just deal with this right now and understand exactly what the verse means. So you understand and eliminate any of this filth out of your brain forever. Now his whole foundation for what he said was because the love between Yonatan and David was extraordinary. If you look at the book of Samuel, the book of Samuel has several different interesting verses and conversations between Yonatan and David of how from the minute that they met each other, they became like soulmates. Even though technically they had all the reasons in the world to hate each other. Because Yonatan was the son of Shaul and was the one that was supposed to become the next king. But instead, David became the next king. So he was a natural enemy of Shaul. Shaul tried to kill him. Even though Shaul was a tzaddik, he had ruach shtut, he had some yetzirah enter his mind, and he got to the mistaken belief that David was actually trying to kill him, trying to steal the kinghood. So he said, oh, he's a rodef. He's trying to kill me, so I have to kill him. And he spent many, many times trying to kill David, and David, in order to prove himself that he's not only doesn't want to kill him, he actually loves him, he actually cares about him, he's a fellow Jew, he's Shaul, he's not trying to do anything. He actually was able to kill Shaul several times and did not kill him, and proved to him, listen, I could have killed you here, I cut a piece of your clothes while you were sleeping, meaning, instead of cutting a piece of your clothes, I could have cut your throat instead. And I didn't. To show you I'm not your enemy. But why? If I was your enemy, I would kill you. And he did this several times. Now, Yonatan was technically supposed to become the king after Shaul died. But instead of focusing on being the next king, what did he focus on? Protecting David. Even though it's going against his own father, even though it's going against himself. It's going against himself. Imagine, you have an opportunity to become CEO. But you see somebody else, it's better fit. It's better fit. Now no one on earth will say, you know what, he's better fit. I'm going to stay the busboy. I'm going to stay the janitor. I'm going to stay the regular employee, or even the vice president, and let him go and be CEO. No one. Why? Because we're all selfish. We're all selfish. We don't care who's better to be the CEO. If we got the opportunity, we're taking it. Even if we didn't get the opportunity, we'll kill somebody just to take it. It's one of the corporate policies in America today. You know, the corporate world. Kill people on your way to the top. So, Yonatan, instead of focusing on himself, he focused on saving David's life. And many times you'll see in the book of Samuel how extraordinary this relationship was. Now, after he died, David HaMelech says the following: Tzar li alecha achi Yonatan, na'amta li me'od niflata avatecha li me'avat nashim. In the book of Samuel 2, chapter 1, verse 26, David HaMelech says, after he sees that his brother Yonatan, Jewish brother, Yonatan died, he says, I'm distressed over you, my brother Yonatan. You were so pleasant to me. Your love was more wondrous to me than the love of women. So from here, the imbeciles that don't know how to read the Midrash, that don't know how to read commentary, and decide to be their own Midrash, decide, oh, look, David loves Yonatan more than women. So, I heard from Rav Nisim again, who saw it himself in the Baal Mishkan Betzalel. Mishkan Betzalel wrote an extraordinary commentary on this, explaining this in the best way that I know. He says, David HaMelech is not saying to Yonatan, your love was more wondrous to me than the love of a woman, a single woman. He says, love of women. Why women? Why? Which tribe was Yonatan from? Benjamin. Shaul was from the tribe of Benjamin. Who was Benjamin's mother? Who was Benjamin's mother? Rachel. Now Rachel, Alea Shalom, loved her sister so much that even though Yaakov wanted to marry her, Yaakov wanted to marry Rachel. Yaakov wanted to marry Rachel, but her father wasn't exactly a tzaddik, and he switched. He switched. And she said, if I tell Yaakov that it's really not me marrying him, he's marrying my sister, first and foremost, my sister will be embarrassed. Yeah, but let her be embarrassed. I'm going to lose my husband. She didn't have any guarantee he's going to marry her too. And she said, oh, if my sister, also Kodesh Kodeshim, but it's my sister, it's not me. If she marries Yaakov, if Leah marries Yaakov, okay? She marries Yaakov, that means Rachel, who's she going to marry? Esav. So instead of marrying the biggest tzaddik in the world, the one that she sees from prophecy, he's going to start Am Yisrael. He's going to start Am Yisrael. What am I going to marry? I'm going to marry Esav. Originally it was supposed to be, the Midrash says, that 6 of the Shvatim, 6 of the tribes, were supposed to come from Yaakov, and 6 from Esav. Esav ruined it, all 12 came from Yaakov. But Rachel didn't know this at this time. She's saying, oh, wait a minute. She's going to get embarrassed. I'd rather lose my Olam Haba. I'd rather lose my Olam Hazeh. I'd rather lose everything just so my dear sister does not get embarrassed. Why? Because I love her. Because I love her. Yeah, but she doesn't even know that you're doing it for her. Doesn't make a difference. Later on, she's not even going to be grateful about it. Doesn't matter. You're not going to get any good for it. Doesn't make a difference. Why? Love is free. Love is free. Love doesn't want anything back. Love doesn't have a price or return policy. Love doesn't end. Love just exists. And I love my sister, and I'm willing to destroy my life in this world and the next for her. And that's why, Rabotai Yekarim, David HaMelech said to Yonatan, the love that you had for me, that you put yourself second to me. I'm not even related to you. You, instead of being the next king and killing me, a million opportunities that you had because, hey, you're listening to your father. He's the Gdolador currently. It's not like he's Esav. He's Tzaddik. Shaul is a Tzaddik. Instead of listening to your father, what'd you do? You protected me. You gave up your own right to be a king for me. The love that you had for me, the love we had between each other is extraordinary to me. It's not natural. I know you, Yonatan, you got that midah from who? From the women. From who? From Rachel. Because you came from her. It's not a human thing that a regular person can have. A regular person cannot have the love of Rachel without being related to Rachel. So the love that you had, that's not natural. It's not a normal thing. You for sure got the signature, you're from Rachel. And that's astounding. That's astounding. And that's why when the time of the Bet HaMikdash was destroyed, Hashem was planning on destroying everyone. Hashem Yirachem. The Gemara in Masechet Shabbat says the Bet HaMikdash was not destroyed for any other reason other than Chilul Shabbat. Chilul Shabbat. But the Gemara says, wait a minute. Some people kept Shabbat. Why, everybody violated Shabbat? Some people kept Shabbat. Hashem says, yes, but the ones that kept Shabbat didn't tell the Mechalel Shabbat to do tshuva. Didn't tell them to do tshuva. They considered also Mechalel Shabbat. They didn't rebuke. Gemara Masechet Shabbat, page 118, says, because they didn't rebuke, that's why he destroyed the Bet HaMikdash. Now he was planning on destroying everything, Hashem Yachem. Avraham Avinu comes to Hashem and says, Hashem, why are you doing this? They're my sons, you promised me good, they're my descendants, why are you doing this? He didn't listen to him. Yitzchak comes, no Hashem, my descendant, he didn't listen to him. Yaakov, no Hashem, didn't listen to him. Moshe Rabbeinu comes to Hashem, starts crying to Hashem, Hashem, they woke me up, they took me out of Olam Haba, or Gan Eden, they told me you're destroying my kids. Why Hashem? He didn't listen to him. When did he stop destroying? When Rachel came. Rachel came to Hashem and said, Hashem, what's the big deal? What? They worship idols? They forsaken the love for you? You told them to keep Shabbat. And they acted like idol worshippers that don't keep Shabbat. They told you I love you, but it was fake. Okay. Big deal. What? You don't have faith? Look what I did. I gave up a husband. I gave up my Olam Haba. I gave up my Olam Hazeh. I didn't know what's going to happen. Hashem says, to you, I'll listen. To you, Rachel, that has such a love, I'll listen to you. To you, I will listen. So, Rabotai, real love has extraordinary power. And the Mishnah here tells us that it's David HaMelech was trying to teach us through the conversation with Yonatan what it really means to love. Because if it's real love, it has nothing to do with anything physical.
Today's child, that's the question that people are asking about, in terms of, does this relate to the child today, and so on and so forth.
Some.
It's perhaps that it does to some, but it's possible, that we're living in a world and where we've stripped things down so much, that we're not afraid anymore. I think, the banned thing. The book was banned, and I wonder, why was the book banned? Was it because of the language? Or were we afraid of his eye? In other words, were we afraid of his vision of a I don't know. I would tend to think that probably the underlying reason is that, I don't know. And that's why I'm saying, today, this book would not be bad. I mean, we wish that this is what they were reading today. It's like we've stripped everything down, to the degree that either everybody's depressed like Holden, or